My name is Prasad. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer at VideoAmp. I oversee corporate strategy, strategic partnerships, marketing, and corporate development. The best thing you can say is that the video space is expanding in multiple directions at once. And that expansion is also happening at the same time of a transition of the television industry. So there's a fair amount of dynamic opportunity in the marketplace for new players, old players, big players, small players, all sort of happening at once. The direct-to-consumer trend is obviously one that can have a negative impact on the big spend of traditional brands, right? And that will affect everyone in the ecosystem. Everybody who's here has for a long time relied on your big packaged goods and automotive and telecom advertisers to continue to spend and grow. But now they have to also become as nimble and agile as these direct-to-consumer brands who are leveraging social channels, viral, and a newfound way of leveraging data to just get around traditional channels and inefficiencies and really find what works and then capitalize on that. The fact that you have fragmentation, you're really dealing with multiple issues of silos, right? Television data has traditionally come from one area, which has been locked into set-top boxes in regional hubs around the country. Digital data has been housed predominantly by those who've created cookie pools, and then you have the device IDs, and now you have the walled gardens. So you have multiple entities who control the access of digital data, and then you have a traditional television industry that controls that. And then within the media planning and buying ecosystem, those are also separate entities, in part because that's just how the way the industry grew up, and also in part because of the tools and the data. So really the unification of data leading to the unification of processes for both buyers and sellers is what's really required for the traditional industry to keep pace with what's going on in the direct-to-consumer or the digital pure plays. I think the IAB has long been a creator of standards that help simplify the industry. It's just really hard to keep up. Any sort of governing body or industry coalition would have trouble keeping up with the pace at which the consumer is changing their habits. And ultimately that's what you see. Everything needs to be oriented around a consumer first mentality, whether it's you as a content producer, a distributor, or as a brand. If you're going to orient around the consumer, then you have to very quickly figure out, well, what are the ways in which we can work together in an easier way? And I think the IAB, through all of its working groups, through the Tech Lab, is pushing lots of different initiatives on data standardization, how video ads and how creative assets are going to work across screens. These things sort of all have to come together at the same time. So it's great to see this much on the agenda and the conference growing to be this big. We had been participating in several different groups, on the OTT working group, on the advanced television working group, and the Video Center of Excellence seems to be the encapsulation of all of these various aspects happening between TV and video. And I think that the IAB really embracing that television and digital are truly converging was really important to us. That's really sort of been our mission since day one, was the unification of television and video. And the center is really allowing us to have a voice and to also be in the room where all the decision makers who really run that whole industry are congregating, creating policies, sharing ideas, creating best practices, and peers, frenemies, competitors, everyone's working together on this, which is really great to see.